Hello, I'm the Reverend Deborah Woolsey, and I'm the rector of Church of the Good Shepherd in Athens, Ohio. We are an Episcopal church in the heart of Ohio University, and our neighborhood has gotten quiet as we all practice social distancing. But there are still ways that we can be connected, and so we are trying to videotape reflection and share it so that we can share our connection. And I wanted to lift up a friend of mine and the example that she is being during this time of social distancing. Her name is Laura, and we've been friends since high school. We became friends on a bus trip that we took to Washington, D.C. and New York together because we had both won a speech writing contest that was sponsored by the local People for Peace group in our hometown. And that trip, the focus of that trip was to speak to legislators and folks at the United Nations about the importance of Earth Day. And that was back when we were in high school. And since then, our friendship has stayed strong, and we've grown, and we've done lots of trips together. But now we find ourselves separated. My friend Laura is an epidemiologist, and she just started a new position with her job, with her company in Germany. And so about 4 or 5 weeks before the social distancing happened, she moved to Germany, but her spouse, her cat, so much of her family weren't able to go with her right away. And now they can't join her because of borders being closed and things like that. So my friend finds herself in a new town, in a new country. And as an epidemiologist, of course, her work right now, trying to figure out ways to treat and prevent the spread of COVID-19, I imagine her job is quite stressful. But I want to talk about her today, not because of her job, but because of her presence that I've seen her sharing with social media and the people she's connected with. She's not talking about how stressful work is, and she has to work from home, by the way. She's talking about the importance of small things. And an example that she gave is in her apartment complex, she has about six other apartments. And this makes it very difficult, this social distancing, to get to know your neighbors. But the neighbors across the hall are a couple, and they're in their 80s. And with them, she's found a way to do these little small forms of communication. So they leave notes for each other and put them under each other's door or on their door. And they also will leave treats for each other. Laura said one day she got a jar of homemade jam. And it was a day she had to go into town. So while she was in town, she picked up some fresh-made pastries and coffee and left it at her neighbor's door. And they wrote her a note saying how much they appreciated that. So while it seems a little unconventional, my friend is getting to know her neighbors, and they're forming a good connection, a good relationship. They feel like they're there for each other. She's not just taking care of elderly neighbors. They're participating in an equal relationship. And I asked her if I could share that because I think it's a brilliant example for all of us. Sometimes we think in these times, or any time of stress or crisis, that it's big things that save the day. But really we're being asked to do small things. And those small things have such great importance. And my friend said, absolutely, I could share this. And I wanted to share it for another reason. Here's my friend who's an epidemiologist, who's really being an example about how to stay connected, how to make new friends, how to be in relationship during this time. And to me that's important because as a priest, when I meet with people for spiritual counsel and I talk to them about doing things that maybe they don't feel comfortable doing or things that they find too big like forgiveness or just kind of reaching out in small ways, they all always say to me, they don't have to do those things because they're not a priest, they're not ordained. But my friend Laura shows us that you don't have to be ordained to do important work. Everybody can. And not only is my friend not ordained, she's also not a practicing Christian. So if she can do these things, we all can. So I want to encourage you to think about ways that you can reach out, communicate with people people that maybe you don't even know during this time of social distancing. That is what we call in the Episcopal Church beloved community, and we can still form beloved community. So I encourage you, you are still part of that beloved community. Share that light of Christ, because that's how we're going to get through this and maybe emerge stronger and better on the other side.